Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another session of Agriculture and Allied Sciences. With us, we have a very special personality, a very senior personality as a moderator, and I take the honors and privilege to welcome him. I will disclose his name at last, but I would like to speak about him, the passion he has for his profession, the passion he has for his family, the passion he has for his father, and also he talks about being self-independent. Ladies and gentlemen, I take the honor of introducing our moderator for the session, having an experience of more than 4 decades, born in a maternal family of primary school teachers, and his father serving as the Indian Army as a junior commissioned officer. Interestingly, he got fascinated works towards animal husbandry than veterinary science, which motivated him to compete for his junior fellowship of India Council of Agriculture Research, which is ICAR in poultry science. And please note, he topped at the national level. He continued his post-graduation program with just a weekend break after the BVSC, and he also completed his MBSc, which is Masters in Veterinary Sciences. I feel an honor to introduce him further down.
But I'm not able to,
the first one to join in as a faculty in 1981 to the University of Agriculture Sciences, Bengaluru, and then moved on to University of Agriculture University, which was the first one in the Karnataka state. During his college days, he lived with his uncle and worked part-time to support himself and his education, which is indeed a bravo. The idea of sharing his story is only to highlight a few points for you youth, for the youngsters, that nothing can stop if you have it in you. So the choice of profession, the career is based on not just the circumstances, but how much you have in you to make the best the use of opportunities. Try to learn as much as possible to excel and always be flexible to the approaches you have in your life. For example, when he's talking about his agriculture and aid services, which was the new thing in the civilization, I welcome Dr. Mohammad Nadeem Firoz, retired professor and head of Department of Livestock Product Technology, Veterinary College, Bengaluru. Welcome, sir.
You're welcome, Deepika, for such a long introduction.
It's such an honor. It's such an honor to speak about you, sir. And I'm sure our youth is excited equally to hear from you and the other panelists and learn from your experiences.
So, madam, I'm not able to hear. Whatever the discussions are going on, I could not able to hear. I am Rajendra Prasad.
Yes, sir. I think we will just look into you, sir.
Oh, just somebody has called from this number now.
I will get you can hear me, sir.
Ravi, somebody has called me.
I will get back to you, sir. Continuing with my introduction to the panelists present
from
here.
US Bangalore, one of the speaker, ma'am.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience you're facing, sir, but it should be a technical lag that you're facing. I proceed with my introduction to the panelists present here. For the industry professionals, we have Dr. Aruna Siri, Corporate Executive Director, Ichimaru Farkers.
But I'm not able to hear you, what people discussing.
I have Institution Professor Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Vice Chancellor, US Bangalore. Youth professional, I have Kwamar Swami, Assistant Manager, and youth student, I have with me Maren Neil. So welcome everyone. Look forward to a very interesting session on agriculture and allied sciences. Over to you, Dr. Mohammad Nadeem Firoz. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Deepika.
Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon to everybody. So I have a great honor and privilege to be the moderator for this session. So first of all, let me introduce you to the elite panelists. What we have a very eminent person in Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who is currently the Vice Chancellor of the University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore, to share with you his views and his experience to the youth to guide you for your career. So we could not get a better person than him. And I welcome you, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, for this discussion. I look forward for your good words to the youth who are waiting to hear from you on this particular career options, what they'll have. Number two, I would introduce you to another panelist, Dr. Arunasiri Idamalaguda. He is basically Sri Lankan by birth, and for the past 2.5 decades, he is working in Japan. And so it is my proud privilege to introduce you, Dr. Arunasiri. So the youth in India especially are looking forward to you, to hear from you. How was your journey from the Indian Agriculture University, and from where and you started and things like that. And then finally, I have two younger youth, the youth people who have done good things. One is Dr. Kumar Sami. Kumar Sami, just after his completion of the education, he is working as an assistant manager in a factory, which is in an agriculture processing sector. Especially, he is working in a very distinguished place where the egg powder is made. So many of you wouldn't have got introduced to the egg powder, wherein the egg contents which are dried, like the milk powder, and the milk powder is packed and it is exported, and it is a very sophisticated process which is going on, and so he will share with you his experiences. Finally, it is Miss Merin, who is doing her first year degree program in the Karnataka Veterinary and Animal Sciences University in Gadag campus. She struggled so much for almost 1 year. She made her parents along with her to have sleepless nights because she was so passionate to get into agricultural sector. And then finally, so her fortune was so good that he could get into the degree program in the agriculture and allied subject. So to start with, I just want to have some basic idea I want to give you is, number one, that agriculture and allied things, in that we have got agricultural science where we have got the plant agriculture, we have horticulture, we have animal husbandry, we have dairy science, dairy technology, we have fisheries science, sericulture, where we talk about the silkworm, and then we have apiculture, we talk about the honey and so on and so forth. So now agriculture is synonymous with food, and it doesn't stop at food production and food processing. We also have the animals, where the animals are reared for food purposes. There are companion animals as pets, which they are there. And then we have other animals for sports, like we have dogs and cats are pet animals. We have equines as a sporting animal. And then we have fish for, for food purposes. We have an umpteen number of things, some fish coming from the marine sector, some from the inland sector. Then we have the aquarium fish, where it is a showpiece. And then we have the processing sector also here in this. And then there is so much of symbiosis in this, that whatever is the excretions which we get from the animals, they are the primary source of raw material for the agricultural production. So there is such a lot of activity and such a lot of symbiosis, synergism which is going on here, number one. Number two, as agricultural based country, in our country, at least 58% of the present day people, they are depending on agriculture. So earlier it was a little more. Now what is happening is, there is a lot of migration to the urban area, and that is one thing. It is an alarming situation. Second thing, whatever happening is, at least 1% of the youth, they are coming into the agricultural field. When they come into the agricultural field for education, they produce all sorts of certificates that they are from the rural area, their parents are dependent on agriculture, and they give a proof that they will go back to agriculture and do great things. But unfortunately, everybody doesn't look at agriculture as a career, and they look for a job, and they get into the job. And so their agriculture is not in the right hands. Why I'm telling you this is, in India, what is happening is, we have possibly taken all the new things, taken all the technology for enjoying and for entertainment. So now what is happening, whether we take communication, whether we take movies, whether we go to music, whether we are traveling, whether we are playing games, everywhere our technology, we have taken it up. But for our livelihood, we have not taken up technology. So whatever we are doing in agricultural field, most of the times, whatever our forefathers were doing, when we are doing that, the same. But then the another point which I want to tell you is, in India, every youth, they want to emulate from their parents. A politician's son wants to become a politician. A doctor's son wants to become a doctor. Whatever is the case, but unfortunately, an agriculturist son, he doesn't want to become an agriculturist. This is the pathetic situation, and that is why I am very concerned that we have to motivate that. Now, who is coming into agriculture? Those people who doesn't know anything, and one. Second thing is people who have got fed up with all that fast life, then they want to go to agriculture, they want to do agriculture, they want into animal husbandry, so on and so forth. So from this point of view, there is a wide gap where the youth can come into this. So what is happening is, we have got endowed with so much. We have about 300 million metric tons of food grains we produce. We produce about 320 million metric tons of horticultural product. We are considered number one in milk production, and we are number 3 in terms of egg production. We are number 4 in terms of meat production, so on and so forth. The whole world is looking at us because we have domestic demand, because we have 138 million crore people on one side. Second, we have got exports in the whole world is looking from us. Now, what is happening is, one, the climate change, and second, the demand for food. There is so much of opportunity in this particular field. And so I would like the youth to come forward and to wholeheartedly come into this. With this small introduction to this subject, I would request our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, to come onto the field and then give his ideas. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad, here we have got total 1 hour of session. So first we shall have all this thing for about 30 to 35 minutes. Then we would take the questions, and you can answer the questions coming from the youth in getting the skills done. So over to you, Dr. Rajendra Prasad.
Okay, Dr. Nadeemji, thank you very much for all your introduction about the agriculture and also opportunity you have given to me. First of all, good afternoon to all the participants who are watching this. As Dr. Nadeem mentioned, we are, good. If you look at the about 3 to 4 decades, our agriculture growth has significantly gone. In the sense, we have achieved a lot of things. As he mentioned, the food productions, we are in the 1950s and the 60s, we were in the 50 million tons, but today we have crossed 285 million tons of food grains and 305 million tons of the vegetables and fruits. And as he mentioned, again, the milk production, we are number 1, fish production number 2. But how it happens? It happened overnight? No. Because it happened because of the technology developed from the public and private institutions, and also the public and private organizations, and the good efforts of the people, the farmers, and also the government agencies, policies, and so many things have they put together. And today we are in a position to export the food grains and also vegetables and the seeds. So that means we are going in a right direction. So, but here our youths are there. So still, because of the ever-growing population, we have to address these things. That is food security. Now we have to look at the nutritional security. That is the most important thing. Why I am telling this nutritional security today, most of the youngsters are watching this. Your focus should be on the nutrition. Instead of eating the bulky foods, can we have the nutritional food? And we can supplement so that we can reduce the malnutrition. This is the one of the challenge we have. Another challenges he also mentioned, climate change and the COVID-19 really made us to think a lot. And today we are all assembling, sitting in. Just now I have finished one more, meeting, webinar meeting from the ICR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, and now I am joining. That means we are become more, overburdened with the program works and other things because of this COVID, because we could freely talk to each other over this kind of technology. So can we, the technologies which we are using, the advanced technology, can we apply this technology into our agriculture field, and can we use this technology to buy our youngsters and to become an entrepreneur, and so that we can become much more entrepreneurs to address this climate challenge, and also ever growing populations, and also the reduction in our natural resources like water, soil, and other things. So this is the challenge for us. So if you look at the career opportunities, as Nadim mentioned, we have agriculture, horticulture, fisheries, veterinary science. Earlier days, when we call agriculture university, means it is a component of all these things. Even in my earlier meeting, I mentioned we are bifurcating as agriculture, horticulture, sericulture. This is not a good sign, because we have to go integration together. Even the industry people, even our youth, maybe engineers, all those people should join and ensure that our challenges should be addressed. So if you look at the agriculture as a whole, now agriculture students involved in many different types of entrepreneurship activities. I list out what are the entrepreneurship activities, what are the scopes which we can think for our agriculture. Similarly, this entrepreneurship, it is not only on the crop production, even on the livestock productions also. That is equally important, because agriculture without livestock, it is not possible. So these things, it go together. And many things what we are talking today, do you know that agriculture business are most lucrative business in the world? This is the question I am asking to every one of you. Some people says it is yes, some people say it is no. It is very, very kind of things. Whatever the efforts we put for these kind of things, we are not proportionately getting the our investment and also our efforts, the proportionately we are not getting the benefits. That is the way. But in my opinion, no, you can, but it should be properly addressed. Then only we will become more profit oriented and other things, because this is a low cost startups. When you say agriculture entrepreneurship, it will be nearly low cost, and we can get 100% profit from the lowest investment. Again, if you look at the global food and the agribusiness industry, it is almost 5 trillion dollars, consistently growing since 2017. Of course, this year may be a little bit slowed down because of the COVID, but the populations now, this COVID has made, again, even Nadim also mentioned, see, many people have started going back to their native and work. So almost in Karnataka alone, 5 lakhs plus people have gone back. So under these situations, can we motivate them to become an entrepreneur, agri-entrepreneur, and give them a job, so that there are two things can be achieved. One is employment, another one is we are going to give a increasing the productions. And what are the areas where we can, in the which concern to the agriculture? The first and the foremost is the production agriculture. So I'll explain what are the steps and where really youngsters can venture. Then the second one is agriculture machines, because today the people who have gone back, they need not directly enter. If you ask them, go and dig the land, cultivate the land, no, without the machinery they can, because their lifestyle in this urban area is totally different. And once you go back, they cannot, like the hard working the jobs. So in that case, what is the alternative? That is agriculture machineries or the tools which we have to supplement. But how our youngsters can involve? Then agriculture sales and service. That means we would like to have this, clinical doctors. See, agri doctors. See, today the people are smart. Even in the village side, people are smart. They want the technology to be given. Even they are ready to pay in terms of disease maintenance, disease, curing, pest maintenance, and all those things, and the value additions. processing. So many areas are there where the services is very much required. So can we train our youths in this? Then agriculture processing. This is most important thing, especially the situations what we are facing now, because most of the fruit growers and the vegetable growers are faced a lot of problems, and this is one area where how this is a lesson for us, how we have to have the processing so that whatever the produce we produce, that should be made usable by processing and make available to the farming community. Again, the forestry is one area people say, but once we invest we will get back the money after a long time. No, now there are different models of forestry, these are coming. So those models can be work out wherever there is a feasibility of availability of the lands to the some entrepreneur, that if he has got the large quantity of labor, the lands, that he can also venture with this. Then recreation and the natural resources. This is most important thing, especially the water and the soil. See, now our youngsters, especially for the Honorable Prime Minister has mentioned per drop more crops. So this concept can be done through the implementing of our youth and get into the field. Then agriculture, marketing and business management. Today, the people who are in the social science, really they're having a greatest role in, our marketing of the produce. Today, the farmers are ready to face produce any kind of the quantity. The major problem which is facing is the marketing. So when it comes to the marketing, it is the connecting between the producer and the consumer. And when I come to that, I will explain our this one. Then the horticulture. This is the most important thing, because high value, low volume crops are the horticulture crops. So most of the private industries, even if the seed industries and other things, they concentrate on this and they are getting this one. Where
So
how
can I?
really?
So shall we go to Arunasiri? Arunasiri,
Yeah.
yeah, there is a question here for Arun. So Arun, can you please make a mention that how was your agricultural education in India, and how you have prospered on that, and how you could take your career forward with this kind of a background with agriculture education in India?
Okay. First of all, thank you very much for giving opportunity to participate from Japan. But really, I'm proud to be a student from US, Bangalore. So even though it's almost 30 years after my graduation, so my background, I was not coming from a farm family, but because the agriculture means it's as Professor Rajendra Prasad mentioned, it's a huge subject. You have many subjects, and your career can be adjusted to according to where you are there. So my background, so I studied veterinary medicine, and then immediately I became a veterinary surgeon. But during my veterinary studies, so you study all the paraclinical and clinical subjects, even though you don't treat human, but you have a knowledge of all the subjects of the what you can adapt to the human. So then after a few years working as a veterinary surgeon, so I went for my higher studies to Japan again for the agriculture university. So there I got shocked, and in India, agriculture university means that we are really still at that time it was a developing country, and you have a huge farms everywhere, farmers, people coming to the university hospital, all the farmers. But when you come to the here, the agriculture faculty means it's a highly highly developed, it's an entirely different world, because the country is changing from agriculture to the little bit mechanical agriculture and the industrialization. So these things, when I joined here as the student for the PhD in Japan, so you don't have huge lands. So when you see it, people try to do the efficient farming, small lands, mechanized, and they try to get the the maximum
So
amount.
you are addressing the productivity what Dr. Rajendra Prasad was talking about. So
Yes.
that is the major problem. So what is what we are facing in India? So I would ask Mr. Dr. Kumar So what is your opinion on this production and productivity part of it? So Kumarasamy, please. Dr. Kumarasamy. So now Menon.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can hear you. Please.
Yes, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity.
Hmm.
Sir, what I would like to stress here is.
What is your message to the youth?
Sir, in the current scenario, people are trusting or believing the packaged foods or processed foods. Now people are reluctant to buy the street foods. So they know the value of the processed foods or packaged foods. So there's ample opportunities for food processing sectors to grow.
Okay.
So there should be we need to create a proper supply chain and ensure that we create value-added products which can also be exported and which can in turn create a revenue.
So you mean to say now when everybody is very much concerned about hygiene and health, you mean to say one good supply chain, or you convert that supply chain to value chain and connect the producer, you as a producer, to the consumer directly. So that is the evolving thing which is happening. And so now, what is your experience with the egg processing sector?
Yes, sir. I can tell that, sir. For example,
please be very brief.
Our egg
we will
processing,
take the questions later. Yeah.
Our egg processing sector started from past 25 years or 30 years in India.
Okay.
Before that, there was no egg processing in India. So what happened is, if we are not going for egg processing, what happens is there will be supply will be more and demand will be less, which in turn affects the selling price, and which in turn affect the farmers, and farmers will not be able to take up this industry when there is no profit.
Yeah,
so
it is very interesting. Now, Kumarasamy, I'll tell you, see here, maybe Arunasiri in Japan, he has come across what is egg powder. So now I think our audience, I think 99% of the people are ignorant about egg powder. So what is happening is we are producing egg powder in India, but unfortunately there is no egg powder in the market. So that kind of a value addition is tomorrow that is possible. See, everybody is looking for the fast food restaurant. In fact, we can make fast food by making, going for food processing. So what do you say, Arun, from this angle about the, farmers getting into food processing and, making the food chain a value chain?
So, of course, in Japan, no, this is highly industrialized country. Even the fast food means it's like almost close to the fresh food. So everywhere you can get a fast food which is highly developed. That it's like you are cooking like food. Regarding the egg, in Japan is the first or second highest egg consuming country. In here, we have a habit morning. So people go to coffee, that all the country, everybody morning having a one egg, almost 99% people.
Okay.
So then, of course, the food processing and these things keeping the people efficient to work, and you concentrate on your other work because of this food processing technology. No?
Yeah, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So recently in GKVK, there was an initiation where the Alumni Association came in very handy for in the COVID time in distributing, grapes and other items.
Yes, sir.
That was such a beautiful concept. So now it is not only working in the field. See, the youth can come into different facets of the agricultural production and helping the farmers. So can you please throw some light on that?
Sir, actually, this is a very good question. I wanted to share it at the end. You see, when COVID came and there was a total stoppage of transport, everything. Then what we did, we started one US Agri-War Center, where we have given a lot of, publicity and the telephone number, and we have collected the data of the number of apartments association, welfare association, and the extension welfare associations, and also the vending vendors, this vegetable and the fruit vendors, all put together. This vegetable vendor alone, we have the database about 6,600, their phone numbers and contact person. Similarly, 250 these apartments and other things. So the moment we receive the call from the farmer, sir, this is we have, then we used to connect that area wise and other things. So as a result, we could able to sell around 700, fruits and vegetables, 700 tons of fruits and vegetables. Now we are continuing and we are making the database so that this data will be available. Sometimes farmers can contact those these persons and sell their products. This is the thing which initiative have made.
Yeah, very good. Very
And
good.
it is working well, and that should continue. Regarding the Kumar Swami's one, we'd like to interact here. That is a powder, the egg powder. Here, see, most of the people are not aware of this kind of things. That is first point. Here, the social science graduates or social science people or the extension people, they have a greater role to play here in terms of marketing or educating the problem. Here, as I mentioned, nutritional security is the most important now. To address those issues, we can take this forward, and some youngsters can do that because many of the urbanites may not be aware of this kind of things. This is one thing I think.
Yeah. Now, Merin, can you briefly, I know that what kind of struggle you had to get into the agriculture education. Can you please throw some light? What made you so passionate about this particular field?
So the one thing is that we'll always face, as students and as we live in the urban area, we'll always face, whenever we say we're going into an agricultural sector, we'll always face a lot of people coming and telling, why, when you have so many options in front of you, why agriculture or why veterinary? Because it is always seen as a lesser respected career. But one thing I'd like to say is there is nothing, respect is in your head. It's about how much confidence you have in you. So if any parents are listening, I should really say that support anyone, any of your children, anyone who wants to take up something, because this is the need of what we need today. Then talking about my journey into this, first of all, it's about selecting a subject, selecting jobs you like to do, and finding your own passion. And that's how I got into this. And I stuck to what I felt was what led me into this.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So to support your claim, I'll tell you, Dr. Ranasiri, who studied agriculture in the Agriculture University, now he is so passionate that he wants to send his son to do agriculture in India. So
actually, that's what it's very nice. I was eagerly, waiting to give him a seat because it's a kind of.
So it's a good fortune for all the youth in India. See, what is happening is we don't know. See, because when there is a lamp, the earlier lamps, whatever we had, so when the lamp was lighting, so there used to be a darkness, beneath that lamp itself. Like that, we do not know what is present in India. The whole world knows the light from India, and we in India, we do not know. See, somebody has asked a question, why there is no other egg powder plant here? See, there are a lot of things. Unless there is a demand from the people, and there is people come out and do it. See, that is what I told you. The technology is there for all entertainment in India, but for livelihood, improvement of livelihood, getting into that is not there. That is why we are stressing upon the youth. You are far better than us. You are having that inquisitive mind. You only can come. See, now we were struggling to get online. You people can do it in a fraction of a second. See, we depend on our children to get into the gadgets. So like that, we want you, because the whole nation wants you to come and transform the agriculture. So we have come to the production stage. We told you the figures. We want you to come in and get into that productivity and make that supply chain into the value chain. Now, I want to ask, Arun, so what is that? Somebody has asked, what is that which made you move from, animal husbandry or veterinary science into high-tech research? So what was the motivation? How was it possible?
So because you have many opportunities, you can work as an agriculture officer or other thing, but when you learn many things as a subject, so there are many new opportunities. For example, so Marion, so she was passionate about veterinary, so I also the same. But today you can check in Google. Today I develop so many cosmeceuticals, different things which millions of global brands today apply. But that application Actually, I got from our background. No, it's a veterinary background, which you do you treat animal, you learn dermatology. So it's almost same. But when you want to change, then you join that one. Earlier, the many medicine cosmeceuticals coming from synthetics, but right now we are going more towards the medicinal plants. Then when the farmer, it's not only paddy and other things. So this is again huge opportunity. So it's $1 billion business what we are doing. So all
Lovely.
the coming from the huge medicinal plant background, we do the research, purify, and we take to the clinical research. Right now, every month, I run a lot of human clinical trials in Bangalore with the Manipal University dermatology departments and other thing. I run huge clinical trials for the skincare. So why I selected India, because you can find the different skin types. It's like other wonderful India, but to do the skin, you have 7 skin types globally, but India you can find 3 to 4 types, especially Bangalore.
Yeah.
So that's why
So
I run
lovely.
a lot of things.
So what you are trying to do is, see, like we have so much of granite earlier. We used to export granite as a whole huge piece of rock. Now what we are doing is we are slicing it, we are polishing it, and we are sending the end product. Similarly, from the Ayurvedic background, we were sending only the herbs, shrubs, whatever available in the forest. Now we are growing it. So agriculture doesn't stop at paddy and sugarcane production. So this is a huge market. The whole world is looking for us. Can you throw some light on that, Dr. Rajendra Prasad?
Yeah. Actually, the right point Dr. Arun has mentioned here. Even in our Atmanirbhar program, the Honorable Prime Minister has announced about 5,000 crores to promote these medicinal crops alone. So now our youngsters, because we have the technology as an institution, we have the technology for the how to grow process and also develop some products. And even we are in fact we have some collaboration with the Himalaya drugs and other things. This is a basic raw material which we for the supply of the any medicines. This is the one thing. Now I request all the youths, there is a money funding, try to tap it and see that the promotion of these medicinal crops is one area where you can become an entrepreneur. Not only the production of the raw material, you can also have the process. We have the process, those things that also you can train. And collectively from the agriculture sector or the engineering or any science graduate, collectively together we can come out with this. This is one thing. The another thing which I would like to mention, your Dr. Nadim, you have mentioned about Arun profession today. For COVID-19, the vaccine is being produced or developed by our own alumni,
Yeah.
Krishna Ella. That means he is from agriculture background and he is addressing that big issues.
Yeah.
Here, what I want to mention to my youngsters, here the profession is not the main thing. You can also grab the ideas and you convert your professional into a technology into a market. This is what I wanted to say.
See, now, whenever sadhu or any elderly man says, everything has come from the earth and everything will go to the earth. Similarly, what is happening is, say, now the technology. See, what is happening? See, somebody is asking what kind of courses we can do. See, in agriculture university and all other universities, we have got vocational courses. One good thing I'll tell you, there is a program which has been made from our veterinary university background. We made it. In that, what happened? All the markets have been connected. All the 26 commodities, agriculture commodities, which are marketed in the Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee, APMCs, with the technology of big data, all that prices are available online. On your mobile, the farmer can get it. What is the expected price for which commodity of which grade? So now that can be an opportunity where you can bring, you can make a link between the farmer and the market, so that you can do something wherein you can get into this value chain and you can make your career out of it. Now, the other thing what I want to talk to you about is, Kumar Sami, so now he has come into that picture. Now he is doing work with that. Now Merin has got, she's a young, going to be a graduate. What she is going to do is, she is going to be a, entrepreneur herself. See, here what happens, there is a possibility of the animals which are there. In the animals, there are, companion animals, there are pet food, pet animals, there are shops for it, and so on and so forth. So in that, she can be on her own. Can you throw some light on that, Merin?
Sorry, sir, can you, I
No,
didn't get the question.
as to mean you want to be on your own. Like you, there are so many girls. Say no, in agriculture universities, more than half of the students are girls. So they come there with some kind of a passion to be on your own. So what kind of opportunities you are thinking about, which made you come here?
So for me, more than the agriculture aspect, as of now, like after listening to Dr. Arun's story, I don't know what I'll be doing in the future. But as of now, my wish is to go into the clinical aspect and move more into the wildlife aspect of it. But considering if I'm taking like my classmates and their opinions also, there'll be a lot of people who are interested to go into the agriculture. So now agriculture, what I think is, it's not only about food for humans, it's also food for dogs, food for other animals also is becoming a big discussion right now about how you can manage nutrients for them. So I think in all aspects, you can actually start entrepreneurship. There are a lot of options for startups and everything in the food sector. And to be on our own, I think for me, again, I'm planning on a totally different thing, which is wildlife. There it's more of, there's government opportunities, there are NGO opportunities also. And I don't know what I'll be choosing further, but it depends on how I'll be going forth.
Yeah, good. Kumar Sami, can you please throw some light on, what are the opportunities available for the youth from your perspective as a youth yourself?
Sir, I would like to tell that because I am in processing industry, I can tell that there will be ample of opportunities in the processing sector. Because
that means you are talking about the retail sector.
Sir, retail sector.
Yeah, it can be egg processing, it can be chicken processing, so on and so forth.
I can give one example, sir. For example, in case of tomato, we have surplus production, but what we are doing is we are importing tomato paste or pulp from China and creating that into ketchup.
Yeah.
So what happens here is, even though we have surplus production, there is no facilities for cold storages or supply chain. So the situation here is demand is and supply is more. So it is in turn affecting the farmers. So they will not be willing to take up this farming. So what
that means there is an opportunity for an entrepreneur to get in and do it. So
yes,
that is a good idea.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They can create cold storages or create a supply chain by themselves. There are many food producer organizations coming up where they can do this, and there will be ample of job opportunities for youths.
Now, for Dr. Rajendra Prasad, can you please throw some light on, some people who have not got formal education in agriculture. Now, if this youth, they want to do something, what kind of vocational courses, what kind of training or skilling opportunities you have in your university?
Sir, what we are doing in the, agriculture, of course, there are a number of opportunities are there. In our university itself, we have the distance educations on integrated farming system, apiculture, and even the other technologies. I mean to say, there are about 10 to 12 degree programs are there, the distance education. But if you come back to the areas where they can try, apiculture is the one where they can go for that. Then the other one is a dairy farming and the poultry farming. Though it is related to the animal science, our divisions is giving, because these are all the areas we are getting a lot of this one. Then nursery management. Those who are not having the much knowledge, we will take them and we will give them skills. And also this the repairs and maintenance of this micro irrigation systems. Actually, this is where see, for the small things that run from the far off places. So now we wanted to train the youths which are available in the locally, maybe one Taloka, maybe 3-4 people we can send. Then they can give the service to the local people. So this is how we would like to make them more, entrepreneur for this kind of things. So these are all some of the areas which they.
What about some post-harvest training programs you have?
Regarding Mr. Kumaraswamy was mentioning about the processing and other things. That is related to what he mentioned about the poultry and other things. But if you look at this now, we are all talking about these, nutri-millets, where this, all kinds of naune, shame, including ragi, we have developed the value addition products, and also we are, especially the youth women, we are training them to prepare different kinds of value added products, maybe some kind of chakli and other things, and also some powders and other things. Now it is getting popular. We have the center of excellence wherein we give all kind of things, and here we are also going to set up the small units for the processing of these kind of things, like this shame, naune and all those things. But today the farmers are expressing we are growing, but the processing is a problem, because if you look at the market, the people are crazy to buy even at the rate of 150 rupees per kilo, but the same material, it is nobody is there to take even 30 rupees at their doorsteps in the village. So now the requirement is value additions and also processing of these kind of things is very much required. I think the rural youth can be promoted under this with giving a minimum kind of thing.
See, all the programs, most of them are, aimed towards, skilling the farm women.
Yes.
Now, here, I think our audience are mostly the graduates who have got educated mechanically. Now, if they are interested to get some skills, what are the programs you have?
Actually, now for the especially the degree and other whole, now it is the era of IoT, artificial intelligence, drone, sensor. These are all the things already we have started using, and precision farming and other things. These category of people can really train. For instance, now we would like to, earlier days for the switch off this motor, we used to go to the near well or the bore well. We have to switch off. Now the farmer sitting at home and monitor the operation of the irrigation system. Similarly, in the micro irrigations also, now we are developing the sensor based on the quantity as well as the requirement of the plant. So this is how we are using this artificial intelligence as well as the data-based big data we are trying to collect, and crop-wise we would like to develop, so that this technology can be used by these youths, so that we can attract the youths for the agriculture, because there will not be much the physical work will be there, only the mental and also the some.
No, that is the youth calls it as a smart work, not hard work.
This smart technology, this smart agriculture we are promoting, certainly these people can go.
Arun, what can you give, because time is going full? What is the advice you would like to give in a short way?
My advice.
No, you have triggered that herbal medicine, the raw material, the climate is suitable, soil is suitable, it is available here. Is that positive thing which you can think of?
So there is something happening globally, because the United Nations going to give the advantage to the countries who own the plants to have maximum benefit. This one we call Convention of Biodiversity. Under that 2010, what we call Nagoya Protocol. You can remember the Kyoto Protocol for the global warming, Nagoya Protocol for the controlling each country biodiversity. So now each country, even Indian government now categorize all the, because plants not everywhere. In Japan, we are poor in plants, so we totally depend on China or the India, because Ayurveda or the Chinese medicine or the Amazon, Brazil, these are the three spots having a huge amount of plants. So India having a huge opportunity, and only you have to develop the the system of this.
So why don't you come forward? Why don't you come forward from your own business interest to have something in India? So that will be a good opportunity, isn't it?
Because of this strict regulation, other thing. So this is what's happening. So
No, you can tie up with
the
agriculture
countries should
university.
take forward. So selling raw material or
Yeah.
sending your plants without making a byproduct, you don't make profit.
Okay.
So now the different country like Indonesia, even the Brazil, they are putting a rule that you cannot import any raw material without doing processing.
Good,
So
good.
now everybody has to follow this one. India having a big opportunity
Yeah.
once this rule coming to exist.
Okay. So now another thing which I wanted to tell, Kumar Sami, see in the egg powder plant, see the egg shells are a waste. Even that
Yes, sir.
waste is being used, isn't it? Can you throw some light on the waste management aspect of it from the animal side?
Yes, sir. When we speak of creating value-added products, it is one of the opportunity for creating revenue. For example, the shell can be used. Shell is rich in calcium, which can be used as fertilizer or as poultry feed. So what we are doing here is we produce around 4,300 kg of red shell.
No, no, can be, will you please be very brief. So not the technology, opportunity you to speak.
Yes, sir. So after drying that shell to the moisture level of below 1.5%, it can be given to poultry as feed,
Yeah.
or it can be used as fertilizer.
Yeah,
or
it can be recycled. So similarly, we have got technologies where see the droppings of the poultry that can be made into compost, that can be done. So that industry can be there. So even so much of the slaughter waste of the chicken. So only 70% is used, 30% is waste. So that can be recycled. So somebody can become an entrepreneur. They can produce it and they can make pet foods, so on and so forth. So everything there is an opportunity where nothing is wasted here. So the plant, whatever is the fruit, the human beings take, and the rest of the residue is taken by the animals, and whatever is the excretion of the animals, that is circulated back, recycled back to the agricultural purposes. So from this point of view, Arun, is there anything which you want to focus? I mean, you want to guide the youth from the perspective of overseas markets, other than this particular herbal things? So from this field?
Yes, because for my one mainly
Yeah,
not
yeah,
only cosmeceutical, we are on the food,
yeah.
because now as you know the like US the COVID, and this is due to there's no proper health system. So our one of the biggest business is the health food. So the health food, again, you have resources. So India can take the leadership and not just sending back the health food or any field. Try to do the process and get the more rights on
Good.
whatever you do.
Good. So first of all, they can get some IPR on all this herbal material first. Second thing, there is a huge demand for organic food. See what is happening, there is so much of abuse of chemicals in the form of chemical fertilizer and pesticides and so on. So there is a huge demand for agricultural fruits, I mean organic fruits, organic material, organic milk, organic eggs, so on and so forth. That is one kind of an opportunity which is available for people to get in, and entrepreneurs can get into that sector. And thirdly, so what is lacking here is the farmers, they want to depend on agent to sell the whole material. And so what can be the entrepreneurs can come into that from in their own area, whatever is grown, which is grown in plenty, like what Kumar Sami said. So whatever is grown in plenty, that can be processed and that can be stored and they can be channelized instead of getting material from some other country. So he gave a very good example of tomato. So we have got everything here and we can do that. Not only that, even there is the kitchen gardens are there in in cities. So for the kitchen gardens, so there can be some kind of manure which can be supplied, which is collected so that people can be happy that they can grow their own vegetables in their terrace gardens. So that also is an opportunity. And thirdly, what happens is whenever you are looking for some kind of a processed thing, even food industry as such, people can come. Partially processed materials can go. So as I told you, some pet food can be prepared at the cottage level industries where collecting the material and they can do it. So the other day, which I was giving a lecture on producing the black soldier fly. So what is happening is people now they are going into the insects. So instead of getting silk from the insects, for which Karnataka is known as a silk state, so we can go in for producing protein from the insects, where the insect which is having a lot of fat and a lot of protein, that itself is being consumed as peanuts or almonds and cashew. So that is also an opportunity where whatever is available, so you can make use of that and do it. So somebody is asking, what are the tech of plant-based meat industries? So that is a very nice question to ask. See, what is happening is, so here, so far the animal husbandry was used, are being used as a subsidiary income. Now, because of the high value commodities, so people are coming up and, this retail marketing is happening. And so people are growing their own animals, so they can know which animal was grown, what was fed to the animal. And so the traceability can be there. And the retail is so nicely established. We can think of, producing your own animals and then you coming into the retail market. There is a huge market. So that is another aspect, which is there. So we have left with the last 5 minutes. So if you have any one point, you can make it, please.
I'd like to pitch in with the entrepreneurship question you'd asked before. So, like Arun sir mentioned, medicinal plants, actually now it's getting a lot more famous. I know some internship people who they explored the forest, Kapatguda forest, which is a very less explored forest in northern Karnataka. And they found endemic medicinal species in large amount in that forest. So I think in that way, the youth is actually putting an effort into finding. Then about the tomatoes in cold storage, there's something called a Sabji Cooler, which is by the EV Experts Foundation. They're trying to bring in things like that. So we had a lot of incidents of farmers throwing away milk just because they cannot produce it.
Yeah.
So I think that was a good. And then there's this lady, she's only 19 years old. She's produced a drone. Her name is Vinadri. And she's produced a drone for helping farmers test their soil and everything.
Okay.
So I think today we're going into sustainable. The youth is looking for sustainable. So I think that will be
good. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad.
Yeah, Dr. Saab, actually, I have some suggestions for all our youths. Actually, there is, you mentioned about sericulture. It is not only the development of this protein base, and also now the people have started green tea of mulberry and also fruits jam they are preparing. Now, these are all the products that people who are really interested, they can venture and take it forward. Then again, regarding the, mushrooms, this is one area, because we are talking about the nutritional security. This is the one where they can go for there are 2-3 types of mushrooms. They can create a artificial whether they can and produce in a large scale. So this is one. Then the agrotourism, this is one, wherever there is quite a huge land is there. This is one area they can explore. Our youngsters can explore the agrotourism. And grocery e-shopping ports. This has to be created, because now, as many of our speakers mentioned about the value-added products and other things. But now everybody is stopped going to the market. Now, can we think of produce whatever the agriculture produce on that? In this line, we started, selling of our seeds and other material online. So this kind of things can be taken up by our youngsters, or maybe some youths, engineers who are not having the job, that they can take it up. Then again, dried flowers is the one of the area where there is a huge business is there. 15% of the
so time is getting up.
And the last one is baking and the marketing that is connecting. These are all the areas they can work. Thank you.
So to conclude, so we have got within the limited time, we could explore what all possible opportunities are there. I think sky is the limit. We cannot do it in one day. I mean, 1 hour, we cannot do it in one day also. So much are the opportunities for you who as entrepreneurs to come, or who are looking into the agriculture education as your career option. So now with the ideas where we have on one side we have crop production, second we have the flower production, then the fruit production, milk production, meat production, egg production, fish production, and all the processing of this material, and then processing of the waste generating from this, and then recycling of the material for agricultural purposes. It doesn't stop at that. The processing area, there are so many opportunities, and then for the distribution, the marketing and the regulations, so on and so forth. So sky is the limit for this. So I want to thank Skillablers who made this possible. My friend Mr. Ravi, who made it possible. So it is just the beginning. We'll come back to you wherever possible. You can write to us. We will be very happy to be with you to guide you properly. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, Dr. Arun from Japan for taking your time. Thank you very much. Dr. Kumarasamy and Ms. Merin, thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Deepika.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammad Nadeem Firoz. It was great, and it was a great insight from all of you, all the dignitaries present here, the youth professional. It's so good and nice to know what's the future of agriculture, how it's developing. So thank you once again, Dr. Arunasiri, Ms. Merin Maria, Dr. Firoz, Dr. Prasad, Dr. Kumaraswamy. Thank you once again. We had a great session with you all. Look forward to further more sessions coming up in the futures and having you all again